everybody. Welcome to Surviving the Badge. Two cops at a bar talking cop shit.
Cheers.
Cheers. We love it. And it's a week after St. Patty's Day. I have my Ireland whiskey glass here. Thanks to John. Thank you, John. Yeah. Appreciate it. And we're wearing our green still. Hey, you know, whatever.
It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
Absolutely. So we're going to do something a little different. We are going to do a series. And this series is called So You Want to Be a Cop.
So You Want to Be a Cop.
Yep. And we are going to go through from the initial starting the academy.
Hey! So this here is conditioned to get them ready, because out in the field, they could be running anywhere from 28 to 32 pounds of extra gear. So this just keeps you up to speed and ready to go at any time.
All the way up to promotions and, you know, specialized units and everything, retirements. And I think it'll be interesting because you can see our perspective as we went through the whole gambit. Of course, Academy back then was different. And all. So, Camille, tell us a little bit about what you got going on here for the first one.
I wanted to do the intro for our series as, do we remember what it was like being a cop? This is going to be kind of an overall from wanting to be a cop to what the realities are. Yes. Before we do that, let's talk about our fallen officers.
Yes, please.
We have 15 fallen officers, and
as of last week, right?
As of last week, and firearms is up and auto is down. If you don't know, the most officer deaths are in those two areas, firearms and auto related. So I am really glad to see it's 53% down from this period last year.
Thank God.
So we're gonna toast our fallen officers and salute you.
Salute. May God be with you and your family.
So I don't know what started you wanting to be a cop, but I remember from my
whole damn family was cops.
See, that wasn't the case with me. I was not a law enforcement family. My dad was military.
Close.
Close. But as far as I always remember going around as a kid playing, I was always the sheriff or the cop. I was never the bad guy. I was always the sheriff, and then
or the soldier.
Right? Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
And then I started watching Columbo.
You know, there's only one thing that I'm not clear about.
Actually, there is one thing.
One other thing. One more question, sir. About those sacks of gold.
And I have a picture of Columbo in my classroom. I mean, Columbo is the guy.
Yeah, man.
So that's kind of, because law enforcement is so dangerous, my folks were kind of trying to dissuade me out of it, but it was in my blood. I had to do it. It was going to be the greatest thing. And don't get me wrong, it was the greatest thing.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a lot of difference between fantasy and reality.
Night and day.
So I went off to college. I was going to go into the Air Force to be a OSI, and then I did a year there, and I'm like, no, I'm going to the police academy. Went to the police academy, came out part-time, and then reality hit. Because my very first cop job was prisoner transport.
Oh.
I'm not chasing people. I've got people so bad, so smelly in the back of my van that I have to drive with my head out the window. I remember this guy
puking, pissing, shitting bums, man.
This guy was drunk and he was crying and he kept hitting himself on the cage of the patrol car. And then I had to go pick him up and switch out the cuffs, and he's got snot and blood all over, and I'm triple gloving, and it was so fantasy of watching Miami Vice.
Yep.
And then dealing with this bloody
mess.
Snot tusk, and he's slopping it around, and it
tusk.
I will never.
Nothing worse than a snot tusk.
Bloody snot tusk.
Yeah.
And, so what got you into it, LT?
I mean, my family was in it. My dad was in it since I was, I think he went in and started at a small agency in Volusia when I was like maybe 11 or 12 or something like that. He did it for 20 something years. Mm-hmm. And then my brother went into it, and he went through FHP. Well, first he started the small agency where we started where we worked, and I retired. And then he went into FHP, went all the way up the ladder, became second in charge of the highway patrol. And then he became a police chief, a couple different places. But yeah, it was the only job, to be honest, it was the only job where I could make decent money, have a lot of fun, get involved in a lot of stuff, and didn't have to have a 4-year degree.
Right.
Or even a 2-year degree at that point.
Now, when did
Then I fell in love with it.
when did reality hit you? Like I said, everything was exciting until I'm sitting there with this bloody tusk guy, and I'm like, this was not in the brochures. So
Yeah.
So when did reality hit you?
I think it was the first scene where I had to sit there for like 10 hours and not go anywhere, not move, not drive anywhere. I had to sit there and guard a scene for 10 hours. And they would come by every now and then and let me go, the bathroom or grab something to eat and then come right back. And that was it. I was stuck there. And I'm like, man, this freaking sucks.
Or yeah, you're right.
Because I was a reserve, and it's like, oh, he's expendable, put him out there.
My first cop job, I did a lot of traffic direction during spring break and all that. So I feel you.
The chair was messed up. Sorry about that.
For you non-cops, the very first thing out of the academy, because I know LT is going to talk about the academy, so I'm not going to really dive into much of that. But first thing out of academy, you're going to go into patrol, and you're going to have field training phase, which is about 14 weeks, where you're learning the streets, learning everything, learning how to deal with people, learning how to be a cop.
Yep.
Because
absolutely,
you're not learning it. You're learning the law in the academy, but you're not learning how to be a cop.
And you're learning the little tiny basic stuff.
Yeah.
Like how to draw your gun and go into a building, but it's not real. I mean,
right.
It's,
Yeah.
The academy it's not like you see on the TV show, like The Rookie that's on TV now, and some of these other TV shows. And it's like, this is not even close to, even at the big agencies, this is not even close to what the hell happens,
Well,
but,
and that's what I have
it's
here.
TV.
Patrol, and your experience might be a little different, but I have patrol is made up of 85% paperwork or 80% paperwork and driving around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You're driving around responding to burglaries, responding to people saying, yeah, I think somebody drove through my yard and made it all messy. And then I think somebody stole my my flamingo or my snowman.
Yeah. My ex. Yeah. Okay. Okay. They him and John stole my snowman at Christmas. If you want to go back to the great snowman caper, Frosty Caper, our show like 3 years ago.
He gave me permission and he called the cops on me.
He's full of shit. Anyway, I like how you put in here 10% everything else.
Yeah.
Court, meetings, citizens, etc. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's off-duty details, and those are probably
put in there
the most boring.
Oh, sitting in the car.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But they pay good.
part of the 80% is if you're on night shift, don't do this, but I know a lot of officers were trying to find the perfect place to sleep, especially in a slow agency
Where nobody could find them. Nobody would see them.
Yeah.
But now they got GPS on all the cars, so you're screwed. They can drive right up to you.
Why is Bob sitting there for the last 2 hours by himself?
He's taking a nap.
Why is he behind that old church? All right, that was my spot.
Before you
you know
get
what
in,
church I'm talking about.
Oh hell yeah, I do. I was there many times. Before you go into CID, let's talk about our whiskey moment.
Okay.
And
so LT had some of these.
we're doing little samples. We're doing little samples.
To tell you the truth, I think he had a little too many of these in the freezer.
Yeah, I did.
I opened it up and it was kind of avalanched on me. But we pulled out. I have Dodo Bird. It's a cookie dough whiskey, and it's actually pretty good. I wouldn't drink a lot of them because it's really sweet.
Yeah,
but I'm enjoying it. It's a good change.
And mine is Ellington Reserve Salted Caramel.
Oh, yours is fancy.
Or caramel. Caramel. And it's 70 proof, and it's sweet. But I got to tell you, dude, it's smooth and it's good as hell, man.
Good.
I really Ellington Reserve. So I like that. So I'm going to give mine, in the realm of flavored whiskeys, I'm going to give mine a solid 7.5.
Yeah. Mine's a good 8. Yeah.
In the flavored whiskey. Now, we're not talking about overall, like, bourbons and stuff like that, but just, flavor.
Fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Neat idea. Figured we'd try something new instead of just a beer moment. So all of these whiskey and beer moments are brought to you by our sponsors, Kristen and Tom Clem of Mainstreet Realty. And here's a word from them. Contact Mainstreet Realty for all your real estate needs. This power team includes Tom Clem, a veteran Marine and retired law enforcement professional.
One of the things I have to instill in my students is paperwork. We're doing report writing now. We're doing crash reports right now. And I tell them, this is the job. You go to a house, burglary over with, you're knocking out a report. You go down and it's so much, and you have to be able to
Tedious.
communicate. And when I'm reading some of these, I'm like, where's your probable cause? Because I asked him, I said, who's the first person that's going to read this after your supervisor? Oh, the judge.
The
judge is going
on
to
an
read
arrest
this.
and all,
Yeah, on an arrest. Yeah, that's what I meant. Or,
oh my God. As a detective, if it's not an arrest.
Some of these reports I'd read, I'm like, dude.
Simple spelling, bro. Simple spelling. We had a couple of people. Oh my God, they were horrible because you had to handwrite them, guys.
Yeah.
You did not have a spell checker, and I know guys that carried the little pocket dictionaries, and then when it got later, they carried the little electronic pocket dictionary.
Because I'm a horrible speller.
Yeah, because they were just terrible. I'm like, just go buy one.
I had a thesaurus and a dictionary.
I said, just go buy one. Yeah. Your spelling is atrocious, bro.
Yeah.
Now, thank God they do written tests to catch people that can't spell.
So yeah, or as a detective, I would always read the patrol. The victim touched the car, therefore contaminating it, and I couldn't lift any prints. I'm like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The victim touched his own car.
It got in and out. Oh, well, have you ever heard of elimination prints? You lazy ass. And we're going to go into that. We're going to go into all of that.
Yeah.
Well, there was sprinkling rain.
So on patrol, meals, you got to eat fast?
Yeah, I don't know how many times, and I hate to, admit that I was a litter bug, but I don't know how many times, you've been rolling down the road and all of a sudden, the code 3 balls to the wall run comes out and you're like, oh shit. And you throw that hot coffee out.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want it spilling all over you.
No.
And we didn't have these fancy cup holders and all this shit.
Where do you keep a cup holder on a horse anyway, LT?
There we go.
Hey! Come on. Get in there. Get that Batman. Get that Batman in there. Get it. Get in there. Hey, don't ground. You're going to get run over. Come on, Nuts. Come on, Nuts. Get him, boy. You better stop. You're going to get hit.
Asshole. Yeah. I got your horse.
or you're at a restaurant and you get up and shoom, you just get the hell out of there, and you gotta come back and pay the bill later.
And most of them were cool. They would put your stuff on a warmer, or when you came back, they'd say, we threw that away. It's been 2 hours. We just made you a new one. I mean, they were really, especially the smaller towns and stuff, they were really awesome. They really were. I'll tell you what, I went into a Popeye's chicken one time. I just love fried chicken. I just do, as you can tell. Look at me. But
who doesn't, bro?
Oh my God, I love fried chicken. And back then, the only place around, we didn't have a KFC or anything else, but it was Popeyes. So I'd go to the next town over and I'd get Popeyes. Remember old Prizer?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, hey, man, you care if I go to Popeyes? Yeah, go ahead. And his next city over. Yeah, go ahead. So I go there.
You could have just rifled through his floor and found out what you wanted.
Jeez. So I would go into, I'd go there and I'm sitting there one day and I'm getting my food and all. And I had just got it and the tones went off and I went, shit, like that. And I said, well, I'm not going to be able to eat this for about 3 hours.
Right.
And she goes, give it to me, honey. Just give it to me. She goes, I got you.
Oh.
She goes, we're open until 11 o'clock. Just give it to me. And I said, no, I'll take it in case I get to eat it. She goes, just come back.
Nice.
So she goes, well, just take it and you come back anyway. So it was like 3 hours later. And this absolutely beautiful human being. She's African-American female, probably in her 50s or whatever. And I was, in my 30s at the time. I came back in the next night, like a week later, the next night that I wanted to go there and eat chicken or whatever. And I came in and she goes, did you get to eat that chicken? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, it was like an hour or two later. I said, but I got to eat it. It was fine. She goes, nope, this one's on me.
Oh.
She goes, you ain't paying as long as you're wearing that uniform. You ain't paying. I said, ma'am, I can't do that. And I said, just let me pay. And she goes, so I get my food and I paid. And she gave me a little discount, but I paid and I go out to the car. dude, there was like 3 extra pieces of chicken, 3 biscuits, extra biscuits. So I took it to the station, and one of the dispatchers got to eat, and all. So yeah, it was awesome. I mean, just
paying it forward. That's
just a wonderful human being, man. She was awesome. And you run into that on the job.
Absolutely.
Just human beings that are just beyond belief nice. They are.
And you're right. There's a lot of, we deal with a lot of the worst, but you come across the diamond in the rough.
Oh, she was a beautiful lady, man. Her soul was
come across
just
these people, and you're like, wow, I still have hope in humanity.
You really do. You really do.
Stuff. Now, how long after you retired? How long did it take you to slow down in eating?
Man, I bet you a good year, 2 years, man, at least 2 years. Yeah, we'd sit in here. We're at my house right now. We sit in here with my wife, and the kids would be there, and I'd be all done and sitting there, the countdown, and she'd be like, well, babe, you took like 4 bites. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I said, I'm used to it, and it's a habit. I mean, literally eat a hamburger in 3 bites.
Yeah.
And just, I'll go into this as the show goes on. The next show, we're going to talk about a little bit of that, the eating habits, the healthy habits, this and that,
right.
Man, you gotta take care of yourself.
Yeah. I was having, right after I retired, I was having a lunch with 2 other cops and then a non-cop. And the 3 of us cops done like 15 minutes before the other guy was finished.
Oh, yeah.
And he's looking around. He's like,
God, I didn't think I ate that slow.
So that's a little bit of reality patrol. 5 years after I was in patrol, I made detective. And with detective, I would say it's 90% paperwork.
Yeah.
Now, back on patrol, there's a lot of excitement. There's excitement. There is excitement.
Yeah.
There's foot chases and there's fights and things like that, but it's not like
chases.
Bound, going into oncoming traffic. We're about a quarter mile out from Kepler now, still eastbound. He's going through the construction. Lost control, signal 4 right by the 7-Eleven, signal 4. Stand by.
You're gonna get bit! You're gonna get bit!
He's out, he's walking away from units. He's running towards the 7-Eleven around eastbound down 44.
Parking! Parking red! Parking! Parking red! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Do it now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Put your hands on your back!
So there is some excitement in all lines of work, but when I made detective, I would say 90% of all detective work is paperwork.
Yo, paper bitch.
What's up, man? Hey guys. Paper bitch. Paper bitch. I don't like that, actually. I know you guys think it's fun, but I don't like it.
Or processing scenes, and then finding a good place to eat.
Did you used to just grab all your shit and just go and sit in the car?
No.
And do your
That
paperwork?
was my part. That was not me.
No, I'm saying you never did that?
No, I had an office. I
know you did,
I did not,
but you didn't want to get the hell out of there and just go sit in a car.
Sometimes I did, but I talked myself. What he's referring to is as a patrol officer,
was it Todd or Pat?
Yes, it was either one of those.
Thaddeus, it was you.
So as a patrol officer, your office is the police car. I have my CJ students, they have to do a project where they have to build a police department, and they're asking, well, Mr. Long, where do we put the offices for the police officers? I'm like, you don't.
Nope, they're in their car. Don't worry about it.
Their car.
Yep.
And so I had a partner who
they're in the car.
Who, when they made the transition to detective, sometimes they. To get things done, because you got people coming in and out of CID all the time. He's like, he would put it in his car, go park somewhere, and knock shit out. And I understood the concept. I had a door on my office though, so
but see, as it went on, they got cubicles.
Yeah.
And so you had the next guy and the next guy and the next guy sitting right there. And if they're on the phone talking to victims and everything else, you're hearing everything they're saying. You're trying to do your shit. I mean, that could be, I would go nuts because I'm the type of person that when I really want to concentrate on something, I have got to have either just plain music or quiet.
Yeah.
you know, or some kind of like background TV
Right.
that's just stupid show, whatever,
yeah.
you know, like the reefs of, you know, whatever, the Caribbean, and I'll put that on, and it's great.
When I'm trying to take a nap, like during the day, I'll put on
Every day.
yeah, well, yeah, I'll put on sewing on YouTube, a sewing channel. Puts me out, right? It puts me out, and you do the line.
Sewing.
It puts me out because they're all well, and when you have
Sewing.
yeah.
Alrighty then. We just learned something about
Yeah,
Mr.
like,
Camille.
Sewing is my sleeping jam.
At least I put it on like NYPD
Just
something.
the reefs
or the Nature
Yeah,
Channel. Sewing. Okay. It's sew time with Camille.
And then as let me get us back on track. CID, paperwork,
Dude, that is so
catching
stupid.
some of the bad guys, and then surveillances. Surveillance is fun. A small agency we worked in, we had to do our own crime scenes, which I enjoyed. But my very first surveillance, I lost the guy because I didn't bring a pee cup, and I had to pee so bad. I said, okay, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. He's not going anywhere. Come back, he's gone. I'm like, shit.
You can't do that with drug dealers. I was in narcotics. They didn't start getting active until 1 a.m.
Yeah, well, this is a burglar.
I know. I'm just saying.
And you
burglars, they didn't do burglaries until 4 a.m.
Yeah, but he had a job. And you guys ended up arresting him the second day because he drove he was in Lake County, and I followed him into the city where you guys put the habeas corpus on him. But yeah, so I learned always carry a pee cup with me.
That.
And then there's excitement. You know, sometimes you're kicking doors in for search warrants and stuff like that, but it's not every day.
No, it's not.
And you write the search warrant. You don't say, "Hey, prosecutor, I need a search warrant."
Oh, no.
And they're like, "Okay, write it up." And
I like
to sign it.
I like how Chicago PD and you know the TV show and NYPD. I keep wanting to say NYPD Blue, the special victims unit or whatever. I like how they go get in a freaking search warrant in like 30 minutes and they're back. Okay, we got the warrant. We're going to hit the door.
And it's a one-page folded up.
Yeah. And I'm like, get the hell. What happened to the affidavit that's like 22 pages long? And then the freaking warrant is like another 20 pages long. Get the hell out of here.
Directions and the photographs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
No. So I put in my experience with patrol or reserve patrol and then CID. I never worked narcotics because I knew that I would get shot in the back of the head my first deal. I'd come up and I would say, "Excuse me, gentlemen. Can I buy some cannabis, please?" And then
do you have that small rock-like stuff that makes you high when you smoke it? Can I buy a $20 piece of that?
Excuse me, sure.
Anyway,
tell us about
I work narcotics, and let me tell you, that was the absolute hurry up and wait game.
Oh yeah, dopers. Yeah, I've done
you call them, dude, and you freaking say, "Okay, we're gonna make the deal. Yep, it's going down. You know, you got a CI, confidential informant. Your CI says, "Yep, I called them. We're gonna make the deal at 5 p.m. You know, or whatever, 10 p.m. whatever, and we're gonna be at this location." Okay, everybody meets an hour before that, gets all their shit ready, gets all their takedown gear, all their shit and everything else ready, and you go and you sit on this place. 10 p.m. goes by, 11 p.m. goes by, make another call. And you're on the phone with the CIA. Go call him. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Another hour goes by. Meanwhile, they never pick up. And this was the day where they just had pagers. And occasionally they had cell phones. And it's like, we're talking early 90s. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So in one of the episodes we got coming up, I talk about make sure you bring snacks.
Oh my God.
And put them in your car because you're going to be on a crime scene sometimes as a patrolman guarding a crime scene for some like 5, 6, 7 hours.
Overnight even.
And you can't leave and you're sitting there and you're starving. And if you got a blood sugar problem or you're working out like a madman and you need some protein, you better bring some freaking snacks. But anyway, so narcotics was hurry up and wait. I gained in the year I was in the narcotics division, I gained 15 pounds. So yeah, it's hurry up and wait. You're sitting there, you're waiting, and I gained that much weight because you're eating on the run and then you're just sitting there. and you're doing nothing for 5-6 hours. And then you get home, it's 3 a.m., you got kids, they got to get to school, everything else. You're trying to sleep in as much as you can, get to work back, and oh my God, especially if you do a search warrant.
Oh, yeah.
You do a search warrant, you got all the evidence to book in, you got all that shit to do, then you got all the ROIs to write out.
Home and they come back.
Yeah, right.
I remember working 3 days straight on homicides and shit. Yeah, no, it's rough.
Yeah, this stuff you see on TV, it ain't nothing like it. I mean, they don't show all the fun stuff on TV, unless you go to the live shows where they do live PD and, cops and all that.
And all that's driving around until something happens.
Right. But, they did. Anyway, narcotics was tough. I'll tell you what, the scaredest I have ever been in my entire life, ever. One of the two that the scaredest I've ever been was the first time I went and did a buy walk.
/ pickup truck on set.
What's up, man?
What you got?
What you need?
Looks like they're exchanging.
Doing the deal now.
All right.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
And we were in a small town over there in the east side of the county, and we pull up, and I've got this veteran with me. God, I forget his Homan was the last name. And he's sitting over there, and he's done like a million of these. So it's like, we had a pinhole camera, so it's filming everything. And I pull up, and I got the 20 wrapped around my finger so they don't just snatch it out of my hand.
Okay.
And I'm up, I said, yeah, man, just $20 rock, $20 rock, $20 rock. And finally the guy comes up and he jumps in the car and he's trying to take my 20 and he's trying to grab the other guy's money out of his hand.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm going to freaking die. And Steve Holman just goes, punch it. So I said, screw it. I pushed the guy and I just floored it, and we got out of there. And I'm like, man, I mean, at any second that guy could have pulled a gun and boom, 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 and I'd have been dead. Because you can't have your police radio hanging out. You can't have your gun hanging out. I mean, everything's got to kind of be hidden. And I was like, dude, and I'm reaching for my gun the whole time he's in the car. I'm reaching for the gun. I said, if I see a gun, this guy's going to die right in my lap. But that and a domestic violence situation, which was one of my first ever, was probably the two scaredest I've ever been.
Yep, same here.
Oh, my God, I'm scary, man. Scary.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this intro episode on what it's like to be a cop. Like I said, we're going to do a series.
So you want to be a cop.
So you want to be a cop. And we're going to do this series, and I think it's going to be amazing.
I do too.
Yep.
Guys, make sure you give us a thumbs up down there. Hit that like and subscribe. Every time you give us a thumbs up, it improves our algorithm. We're up to almost, I think it's 28,000 subscribers. We need to get the views up though. So share it with your friends if you think it's good and it's fun. Oh, by the way, I meant to tell you, I got a text from one of our buddies with one of the local sheriff's office. I hadn't seen him in like, I don't know, it's probably been 6-7 years. So I'm at one of the local pizza places, and I was telling him about the show, and he goes, no shit. So he sent me a picture, and it's our logo on his computer screen.
Oh, cool.
And he's kicked back watching, and he goes, man, great show, dude. He goes, what's up with the echo?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I know, bro. We are working on that.
Sounds better. Let us know if it sounds better.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, always remember, at Surviving the Badge,
we still got your 6.